So I want to talk about the conception of time. When we think about time, we always think of clock time, we think of 24 hours, we think of 30 days, we think of 365 days, 1 year. But can you imagine how time moves for a tree? Because trees do everything that we do. They exist on the planet. They engage actively with the planet, and there is quite a lot of activity happening in a tree. If you see, they are throwing out branches here and there, they are sort of fighting with each other, the branches are colliding, they are struggling for space, they are sending these probes down to look for soil, and trees are moving towards the sun. So they are all very, very active and very, very mobile. But to our eyes, they are quiet, they are silent, they are still. But that's actually not true. They're full of activity. So what is happening here is that the trees are actually moving in a different dimension, right? At a different speed, in a different kind of a time from ours. And our time moves at a different pace. We live for about 80 to 100 years, and we count days. Now, think of a mayfly. A mayfly lives for about 1 or 2 days. But in that time period, it lives its entire life, isn't it? It's born, it sort of sheds its skin, maybe it comes out of a larva, it grows, it mates, it produces offspring, it grows old, and it dies. So surely the experience, the subjective experience, the qualia of this mayfly, which lives for 1 or 2 days, and the time for which moves incredibly fast compared to our timeline, is different from our experience of life, which is then again different from a tree's experience to life. To us, they seem immobile. In fact, there's a very interesting thing I want to share with you, which is about rocks. So if you see water cycle, we all know what is water cycle, right? Water exists in liquid form, it evaporates in gaseous form, it touches, becomes clouds, it rains as water. So it has those three things. It's ice melts, becomes water. That's the water cycle, right? But do you know that there is also a rock cycle? So there are different types of rocks you might have studied in school. There are igneous rocks, and there are sedimentary rocks, and there are the rocks undergo the process of metamorphosis and they become different kinds of rocks. But do you realize that it's all the same rock? It's the rock that's coming out of the volcano and it's becoming lava. It's freezing over millions of years, becoming hard blocks of granite, then it's eroding over another million years, and it's becoming sand, and it's becoming sedimentary rocks. So the same rock was igneous, then it was something else, then it was sedimentary. Isn't that amazing? So if there was a being who had a very huge timeline, for example, if they take a breath and a million years passes, if there was a being like that, for them, the rocks would move and melt and flow and go down further into the ground, and then rise again as a lava, and then again flow down, become a rock, then again erode, become dust, pushed down into the earth, become lava, come out of a volcano again. To them, this would be like how rivers or oceans or waterfalls are for us. Rocks would be flowing. That does make one wonder, isn't it? What the speed of nature really is, and what the nature of time really is. Something I wanted to share with you. Thank you.